You're listening to Popcorn Poops, episode 93, in which we watch and discuss Dorian Walker's 1989 film Teen Witch for hashtag Witch Month. If you'd like to sync this podcast episode up to the movie, go ahead and start the film and then press pause as soon as the title card reading Trans World Pictures Presents fades away. We'll get things started here soon, but first, here's a word from our poo pals over at Junk Food Dinner.
Do you enjoy movies where scripts and production values are ignored in favor of dudes in rubber monster suits chasing bikini beach girls? Is quality of gore more important than quality of acting? Then Junk Food Dinner wants you. Junk Food Dinner is an explosion of cult movie podcasting, devastating the internet with shrapnel made out of horror, action, and sci-fi flicks. Each week, your hosts bring a favorite movie to the show to swoon over and or hate on. Go to junkfooddinner.com to download some episodes now or search for it on iTunes.
We are the Pumpkin Poops.
Welcome to Pumpkin Poops, the best married couple movie podcast / commentary track hybrid audio program on the internet. My name is Jessica, and with me, as always, is my poopy husband, Dustin.
Hello. It's been a really long time.
Let's talk about why it's been a really long time.
Well, we're currently sitting in our house. Yes, not an apartment, but our house that we purchased.
We purchased a house.
Yes, we're in an insane amount of debt.
For the rest of our lives.
Adulthood. But yeah, that's basically what has put us off of doing the podcast. We had taken a little break for the summer, and then we bought a house.
Well, it wasn't really for the summer. It was taking a break for the start of the school year for me.
Right. So the end of the summer, getting ready for school for you, and me getting into football season, which is a big deal at my job. So yeah, it just seemed like it made sense for us to take September off, and then August rather. We took August off, and then when we bought a house and started the process of, finding the house and then moving and doing all the things associated with that on top of, having it being the beginning of the school year.
Right.
It was just a mess.
This year I'm teaching more classes at UTC, and I was in the process of finishing a novel, and now it's like my thesis this year. It's just been
right.
unending.
It's been an especially busy time at work for me as well. I had a half-hour documentary special to produce on top of being in production on the third season of a high school sports show, in which I'm in charge of producing the show as well as an individual segment in the show. So I had more on my plate than I have had in the past at this time of the year. So I know all of this to our listeners sounds like excuses, and
they are.
Absolutely, they're excuses. But we are back, and we
in time for the best month of the year.
We weren't going to miss October.
Right.
We weren't going to miss, what is arguably not arguably, it's a fact. It's, certifiable. It's a scientific fact that October is the best month. And so we are back. We wouldn't have missed this for the world.
As always, you can find us on our website at popcornpoops.com. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter at popcornpoops, or personally, I'm at JCasperKramer.
And I'm at Dusty Cram.
You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, follow our Twitch channel, Pixel Poops, at twitch.tv/thepixelpoops.
It's been pretty inactive. I think we need to have a conversation about possibly moving Pixel Poops over to YouTube full time and just having all of our stuff kind of live on YouTube.
We also just need to use Pixel Poops.
That's also true. But yeah, I think that with the new house, a lot of new things will come, and these promises that we've made to our poor listeners might actually come to fruition. But yeah, stay tuned for that.
As always, you can also support us by purchasing things from our shop.
Yeah.
Or just giving us cold hard cash.
That too.
We have a donate button on our website, which looks like a donut.
So it's really a donut button.
That's right. And you can also go to audibletrial.com/popcornpoops and sign up for a 30-day trial where you will receive a free audiobook in the process. The best way to support Popcorn Poops, however, or Pumpkin Poops, as we call ourselves
this month, Pumpkin Poops,
is to leave us a rating and review on iTunes, or Stitcher or anywhere else where you can leave us a rating and review?
I think only those two places right
Okay.
now. I mean, if you can find another place where our podcast feed has managed to feed into, and because it's all over the place, like it's in places that I never uploaded it to on the internet. And if you leave reviews there and we find them, sure, we'll read them. But for now, iTunes or Stitcher. Or Stitcher, really.
So, Dustin, do you have a review to read on the show?
We do have a review on iTunes. This comes from Joe Aiden with the subject line, "Love this podcast." And of course, it is 5 stars. And this review reads, "Recently discovered this podcast and I'm going back through their back catalog of shows. Really into it. I'm a big fan of film audio commentary, so this podcast is right up my alley. Entertaining as hell, informative, and both hosts have a great rapport with each other. No complaints. I find myself sometimes listening to the show without actually watching the film. In my opinion, it's just as entertaining, especially if it's a film I'm familiar with. If I could change anything, I'd ask for more 50s and 60s sci-fi and horror, but that's just me. As I said, no complaints. Great podcast. Look forward to new shows. Keep up the great work. Thanks."
Thanks.
Thank
That's
you very much.
awesome.
That was
And I mean, I really like that part that, had the 5 stars.
We will do our best to go back. We'll probably do a classic sci-fi
50s
month
and
at some
60s
time.
horror, yeah.
That's
I could totally handle that.
that's a real like blind spot in our show. So yeah, we should definitely go back and take care of that. But yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
All right, so this month, as you know, it is Pumpkin Poops month, and we always do a Halloween-themed somehow month during October, because why would you miss the opportunity to watch more horror movies?
Answer: you wouldn't.
That's right. So this month we are doing #Witch Month. All movies about witches,
Yes, more or less.
more or less.
Yes, all about witches. Yes, technically.
And we did take into consideration, we got a lot of requests for what we should do for this month.
Yes, a lot.
And we did take those into consideration. So we're starting things off with Dorian Walker's 1989 film Teen Witch. So without further ado, sinkers, press play at the beep after the countdown. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
You hear that sexy saxophone?
Unfortunately.
That sexy ass saxophone music that starts this movie. Not exactly what I expected when I fired this old movie up. I don't really have much of a history. As usual, we tend to start these shows with a discussion of our history with the film that we're watching, if
Right.
any. So
You don't have any history with this?
I'll start because mine is much less interesting. Not that yours is super interesting or anything, but
Thanks.
but no, I don't really. I wasn't really familiar with this movie. I understand that it has a big cult following, but my experience with it is pretty much limited to seeing bits and pieces of it on the Disney Channel, I think. Which, in retrospect, after having watched the movie in full and, dare I say, unedited, not that this movie really needs editing or censorship, but this is kind of a risque movie that to be showing on the Disney Channel, even in an edited form. Like, I don't know, I think that's kind of a weird programming choice.
Was this on the Disney Channel?
I think it was. I mean, I might be thinking of something else, but I feel like I saw this for the first time on the Disney Channel, and I certainly didn't see this opening sequence, which is just,
She looks like she is like 25, 27 years old here.
I didn't.
Isn't she 16?
She's supposed to be. I didn't look up how old. You're of course talking about Robin Lively, who plays Louise, our titular teen witch. And no, I don't know exactly how old she was in this. I'll look it up while you're talking about your history with the movie. But yes, she certainly does not look like a high school aged girl in this.
Oh my God, is this a Bollywood scene? Like the like pushing each other away and
positively
then like
ridiculous.
Look at this little move they're doing. This little
I don't
dance.
know what is
this
that.
Little dance. This little.
I think there's a reason
shimmy.
where we can't see like their waists because they were rubbing
Genitalia
things
up
together.
against each other.
Mhm. So, please tell me about your history with Teen
My
Witch.
history with Teen. I mean, I watched it seriously. Like that's that's the history. Is that I mean, this came out in what 89.
Yeah.
So I was born in 87. So by the time I was
so she was 17. So she was 17 when this came out, which means that she was probably 16 when she made it. So she's actually age appropriate.
wow.
Which is
that is crazy because she looks, man, they dolled her up
then
in this
thinking
scene.
about some of the things that she has to do in this movie, particularly the not sex scene that is a sex scene, but we'll talk about that when we get there. But yeah.
I mean, I watched this, I'm sure in elementary school is when I saw it for the first time, and it was something that would come on around Halloween or whatever, and it was just a show. It was another, whatever show that I watched. I've always liked supernatural stuff and horror movies and things about magic and fantasy and whatever. So even when I was a kid, I was into the witch thing. And
what this intro reminds me of the video to some random karaoke song.
Oh, it does. Like the ones, man, in Japan, they are crazy about that.
Oh, and if you want to know what bad slow-mo looks like, I've complained about it on the show before, but this is what bad slow-mo looks like. This is what happens when you film something in, a standard frame rate, like 24 frames per second, and then you decide after the fact, oh, we're going to make it slow-mo, so you just slow it down and it looks choppy as all hell.
Doesn't what opens with is it the first episode of Buffy that there's a nightmare in the first episode when Buffy wakes up before we're introduced to her?
Yeah, maybe. Is it the show or is it the movie?
I can't remember.
So yeah,
I know that I know how the very first episode of Buffy starts with Darla getting the guy into the high school. Yeah, it's the turnaround. It's like, oh, the girl's in trouble, but it's not. It's the guy who's in trouble. So, but I feel like the introduction to Buffy is maybe like a wake up from a nightmare with the master or the first. Anyways, whatever. This is, we wake up and it was all a dream. So this whole movie is about her liking a boy. That's the whole movie.
The whole fucking thing, and we'll get into that. Her little brother, played by Joshua John Miller, is genuinely gross.
Oh, yeah.
You got that opening scene there where she finds him under her bed eating chocolate while she's sleeping.
And reading her diary?
And reading her diary
super weird.
As she has a sexually charged dream. Like, there's no two ways about it. But I think that it's not just his performance, which is good. I don't want to. I can't stress that enough.
It might be the best performance in the movie.
I think it is.
Well, Zelda Rubinstein.
But I don't think it's her performance. I think it's just her
because she's just wonderful.
Because she's a fucking treasure. She's a treasure.
Right.
But I think it's because he's a little too old to be doing what he's doing in this movie and being as gross a little brother as he is. And there's a real kind of uncomfortable feeling surrounding that. It's not just an older sister overreacting to a mostly innocuous kid brother. He's actually really fucking gross.
Yeah. But there's something about his delivery and stuff too that's just something about the way he talks that is just perfectly unsettling and disgusting.
Yeah. He has a bit of a horror pedigree. Did you know that? The actor Joshua John Miller,
I know his dad was in The Exorcist, right?
Oh, was he? See, I didn't know that. How about that adds to it. He appeared in Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, in 1982, and also in Near Dark in 1987. And he co-wrote the film from last year, The Final Girls.
Really?
Yeah. So that's I think that's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Is the son of playwright and Oscar-nominated actor Jason Miller.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Who was in The Exorcist.
Okay, excellent. So now Louise is at high school, and if you take a drink every time a cultural touchstone of 80s youth is ham-fistedly put on display, you'll be in the hospital pretty quick.
It's going to be pretty fast.
Skateboarding, BMX, like as she's walking into school, you got skateboarders and BMX people doing tricks and a white rap crew. Welcome to Yikes City.
So we have already missed things that I wanted to dive into immediately here
yeah, definitely.
One of them immediately is, so she has a lot of money. Let's be serious here.
I mean, just look at the neighborhood that she's in. I mean,
right?
It kind of feels, and I don't think this is an accident. This feels like a John Hughes movie. It wants to be a John Hughes movie so badly. Like she is a Molly Ringwald character, and she has a ducky. Like Polly, her best friend, is a lady ducky. I mean, no two ways about it. That's what it is. That's what this is emulating.
And the whole thing.
And John Hughes movies are about rich people. So.
And the whole thing about her, like, acting like the girl across the street. I forget what the character's name is. The blonde.
I don't know.
The blonde girl.
Don't
whatever.
care. Don't
know. Don't care.
Don't know.
Acting like she just has this perfect life because the boy is picking her up in the convertible, and she just has it so much better than her. And I'm just like, I mean, I have a lot of problems with Pretty in Pink, but at least like she's legitimately poor and has reasons to sort of be irritated at those people.
I mean, please go back and listen to our Pretty in Pink episode. But yes, we did cover that. I feel that. I feel like this doesn't really get across the bullshit classism of the John Hughes movies. And don't get me wrong, like it is bullshit in John Hughes movies, but this movie kind of fundamentally doesn't understand why those movies work on that level.
And like her geekiness and stuff, like she's, gosh, just look at how she dresses. She's just not like the popular girl. Why do you dress like that? You have money. Go buy popular girl clothes.
Why can't I have what she has? The girl who lives across the street from me.
Exactly across the street.
In an equally expensive house, like literally across the street from her.
I just don't, like, her mom buys her a sweater or something and it's unattractive, and I guess we're supposed to be made to think that she doesn't like, so, but I'm like, okay, you're 16 and your mom buys all of your clothing. That's what we're saying here. I just don't buy that.
It's also like another thing that I don't buy is that we're supposed to believe that she is like disliked or something in this school, and as far as I can tell, the only person who dislikes her is her English teacher,
and he is the worst teacher on the face of the planet.
I say that, but maybe like the leader of the rap crew, because he asked her if she's even a high school student.
I don't understand how that's an insult.
I don't. Yeah.
Is it because of her clothing? Because it looks like adult clothing?
I don't know.
It just looks too big for her.
There's also like this weird thing about like whether or not she is a senior, or
right,
that her and her friend are seniors, because her friend Polly said that she can't wait until they're seniors when they were out in the hall. But then Louise is taking senior English, but she also skipped a grade according to her English teacher. So with all that information what are we supposed to derive from that? Is she or is she not a senior?
I don't understand why we complicate it. Why do we need that? I hate it when movies do that. When there's this like overly complicated thing that's going on just for no reason. Like, why? Just have her be a senior.
Okay, so how about this? How about this ridiculousness that is on display right now? This is the I Like Boys dance sequence,
right?
Which is something. This was the point in the movie where I was very, very surprised and kind of realized that this movie kind of wants to be a musical.
It does. And I'd never realized that until just this time watching it as an adult.
The movie starts with a dance sequence and music number, and then she goes to school and there's a full-on like rap. Like, I know that they're just some kids in the hallway, but like it's a fully produced rap song.
Right. And then we have this. And the thing is that we're going to like drop it. Like they're going to drop the musical thing all of a sudden and not do it for a while.
Like
why?
So this is supposed to be like their dance cheer routine.
Right.
But they're choreographed to do things that are specific to the locker room, like drying their hair and doing
and they started with, "Hey cheerleaders, I've got a new cheer." And I'm like, this isn't a cheer.
This isn't a
song.
Define cheer.
It looks like an aerobics workout.
And I love the cutaways with Louise. Like
dance.
She's just watching them dance, and every couple of minutes it cuts back to her, and she's like, "What are they doing?" And then Coach runs in, and she's like, "I don't like boys. Get the fuck out of the locker room."
Oh my gosh! And I mean, the lyrics are just, "I'm throwing out my dollhouse. I'm giving up my toys. I realized this morning I like boys. I'm giving up my hot stuff to get a little boys. I'm putting on some lipstick to attract some boys." What?
I mean, I guess it's thematically consistent. Oh my God.
Is it?
Hold on. Hold on.
Yeah, take it off, baby.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so this soft focus shot right here of Brad, the boy of her affections, is
Just
him
working out.
taking off his shirt and throwing a football and just working out on the football.
I'm just gonna stop and do some crunches right now.
When we watched this the other night and took notes, this broke me. It broke
And
me.
here's the other thing. She just walked into it. She was in a classroom and her little brother's sticky chocolate paper of her diary makeout fiction that she wrote about her and Brad.
Her slash fiction of her and Brad.
that she accidentally somehow didn't notice was attached to her homework. Her evil teacher read out loud because, again, worst teacher in the world. And
Oh, he gets worse.
he gets worse. And then she goes and, after sobbing in the bathroom, thinks it's an okay time to go and stalk the boy who she just had that happen to her about in class.
So now
That's a good choice.
And this is something that doesn't come up. It does come up again, but then
One time.
But it's not like you would think that this is the setup for the climax of the movie.
Right.
Where there's a play that will be the climax of the movie.
Yeah.
So her and Brad, Louise and Brad, are trying out for this part where
Oh my God, he has this football.
where they have this romantic. Oh my God, they have this romantic scene together, and this is. I'm meant to believe that this is the same day that her English teacher read basically slash fic of like this fantasy note out of her diary of what she wants to do with Brad, like saying things like he's kissing her all over her body and all this kind of shit. And she gets up and runs out of the classroom. And I don't believe for a second that either one of them would be okay with doing this on this day of all days.
And my arms, do you think they open to the first comer? What is this supposed to be? I didn't look it up to see if these lines were actually from something.
Possibly care.
I just don't understand why we needed this in this movie. And okay, let's just go back before I forget some things. By the way, if you look up the I Like Boys song on YouTube, the first comment right now is by user Joey Clash, and it says, "Well, time to jack off." Just wanted you to know that's the quality of comment
Oh my God.
that video has on YouTube. Thanks, Joey. Nice input.
Thanks, Joey. I mean, you're not wrong. All of those young ladies have unrealistically attractive bodies and swimsuits that I don't believe for a fucking second are sanctioned by any educational institution.
Yeah, well, all their high school football team boys are also ripped to the max. They're on major steroids and are, just
0% body fat.
Yeah, and they're just out in the field just doing crunches by myself.
Throwing the football, soft focus. Where did this soft focus come from? Feeling a little fuzzy.
I'm just going to look in the sun for a minute. Squint into the distance.
Anyway. So Brad, we haven't talked about Brad at all. Brad is played by, I'm going to butcher his name, Dan Gautier, I think. And welcome back. He also played Travis in Son-in-Law, which we've covered on the show before.
Okay.
And we haven't talked about Robin Lively a lot. I mentioned Robin Lively. She's done bit parts in movie and TV consistently. This is certainly her biggest role. She did have a part in Ouija from 2014. Do you remember that movie? It was a piece of shit.
It was.
Maybe
I've watched all the sequels.
Maybe as a casting nod to this movie, because like Ouija, magic, witches. I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, Robin Lively's got to eat, right?
Yeah, sure.
Her sister Blake can't support her, forever. And
what does her sister Blake do?
Her sister Blake, well, she's an actress and she's married to Ryan Reynolds, and yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, Robin was the famous one until Blake came along.
There are weird references all throughout this movie. Like back when Pauline met her at her house.
Is it Pauline or Polly?
I thought it was Pauline. Maybe it's Paul. I mean, they say Polly online, but I thought she was called Pauline.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Polly, but you might be right.
I could be also wrong. That's also one of the two options.
It's definitely one or the other.
So there was like a weird moment, like when they met and they were both longing for the rich girl's house across the street, which is almost identical to their house. She was like, gosh, he's here to pick up Cinderella. And then whichever one didn't say that was like, you mean Lady Guinevere? And I'm like, why does it matter? And what's the difference?
I don't like your
here?
reference. Here's another reference.
I don't understand why she would be one or the other and there would be any particular like, why would it be Lady Guinevere over? Is she married to someone already? Like,
it's not specific enough.
I don't get it. There's just weird stuff like that. And her English teacher references John Donne, which I'm assuming he means the American novelist and critic. Weird trivia about John Donne. He was uncle to actors Griffin Dunne, who co-starred in An American Werewolf in London, and Dominique Dunne, the older sister who co-starred in Poltergeist.
What? Wait, didn't she die?
Yes.
She was murdered.
Her ex-boyfriend strangled her.
Oh, that's right.
And she went into a coma.
We talked about that on our Poltergeist episode, which was a couple of years ago now.
Yeah.
I think we did.
It was probably our first Halloween.
I think it was for our first Halloween.
Because it's one of the best horror movies of all time.
One of my faves. So we are finally at what is the only real saving grace of this movie, the wonderful Zelda fucking Rubinstein.
Right. Speaking of Poltergeist, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. Welcome back. Has she been in another thing?
Something else, I think.
I feel like she was in something else that we covered. I can't remember. But anyway, yes, wonderful Zelda Rubinstein. She is a treasure, and she has left us now. And rest in peace, rest in power, Zelda Rubinstein. In this scene right here, her character, Madame Serena, says, "I like your cutesy little Punky Brewster face." And Robin Lively actually played a character called Lisa in 2 episodes of the show, Punky Brewster. I don't know if that's an intentional reference. Probably not. In this scene, there's this interesting change that happens that is really endearing to me. The first time I watched it, when we watched this a few nights ago and took notes, I was compelled to criticize Madame Serena's accent, or Zelda Rubinstein's accent, rather, as being fakey or put on or overacted or whatever. But as soon as that she realizes that Louise is a witch, she completely turns it off and becomes really real. And it's actually a really sweet performance.
Yeah.
And there's this one line delivery where she says, "Trust me," that I don't know why. It's such a simple line. It's such a simple delivery, but it's really sweet. And it's probably the realest thing in this movie, but that's it. That's it. After that, there's nothing else. I mean, we could really just turn it off after that.
Also, besides her hat, I would totally probably wear Zelda's clothes right now. Not the hat, though. I don't want the seashell hat. I'm not that crazy.
I believe you. Let's talk about the director, Mr. Dorian Walker. He only made one other Hollywood feature besides this. He made a movie called Making the Grade from 1984, starring Judd Nelson, who, of course, was one of the Brat Pack. Teen Witch is his most recent Hollywood feature directing credit. And that's 1989, so that ought to tell you something. He actually went on, he's successful in his own right. He went on to found Peridot Pictures, which produces historical docudramas and functions as a production company for hire. Like, they make commercials.
I think those are like gold leaves on that cake.
Are they?
Yeah. And also, who has a 16th birthday party, like, at their house with, like, their parents set it up and, like, you invite your friends over and send out invites to your 16th birthday party? Like, I mean,
have you ever seen My Super Sweet 16?
No.
It's a terrible show, and it'll piss you off.
Oh, isn't that like rich kids doing outrageous things? But those,
demanding things from their parents.
But those are like outrageous birthday parties. I mean, you know, you like have a dance, or you have like a big sleepover, or you do something crazy, or you go to what do the kids do these days? They go to the roller rink, or
I don't know. Buy condoms and put penises in each other. I don't know what the children are doing these days.
The way they make this out to be is like she sent out invites to all her classmates, and I'm like, is this her 8th birthday? She's sitting at home waiting for her friends to arrive.
Her father, who we saw in that scene, in a prior scene, played by Dick Sargent, who was the second actor to play Darren, who, of course, was the husband of Samantha the Witch on Bewitched.
Gosh, you know what I love in movies? I really love it when we get like some dialogue from a character and then approximately 1.5 minutes later, they voice over the dialogue, like the same lines, so that we remember what they just said. Because I definitely forgot it 1.5 minutes after they said it.
Yes. I was talking about Dick Sargent just to put out my opinion. I think that the world needs to know that Dick Sargent is not the best Darren. It is Dick York, in fact, who is the best Darren. And speaking of Dick...
Can you do it? Can you rap for us?
Oh my God. I don't think I want to.
I can do it. So they're having, if you haven't had the pleasure of watching this movie recently or watching it along with us, they're having a sex ed class, because we definitely needed a scene in this movie where we just have a sex ed class and talk about a condom. And the scene starts, I think it's funny, the scene starts and she's got this blue piece of fabric over the board behind her. And I feel like for the enterprising Photoshop artist, you just put that woman in a sea of dicks, because that's... Because the scene, go ahead, please
like,
do
based
it.
on this. Okay, so the leader of the white rap group stands up and demonstrates his knowledge of euphemisms for the penis, and it goes something like this: a Raja, a love wand, a joystick, dong, zip a lizard, tallywhack a trouser, snake schlong. The greatest hip hop lyricist of our time.
Thank you.
Take a seat, Kanye West.
Also, her wannabe boyfriend is the Fonz, I guess now. He just goes over and hits machines and makes them work.
I think he's a warlock, which makes them the perfect couple.
Sure.
I really wanted to see that sex ed teacher try to put that condom on the umbrella.
On the umbrella.
She pulls out a fucking, did you say anything about it? She pulls out a fucking umbrella and dangles it there, and she's like, what is this? What is this supposed to be? And it's like, well, I mean,
that's when he does his rap about penises.
I guess it's a phallic symbol, I guess.
I guess you don't have anything else shaped like a penis, so we get an umbrella. I mean, you could just draw a dick on the board. Like, that would be fine. Oh my God. No, this line is great. So they have this piece of jewelry that she's in the costume
magic jewelry
room, I guess back in the green room or something, or the costume room. And at my university, it was one and the same, because I went to a pretty small school. But so like they're back here and they're looking through the costume. This theater shit is just so throwaway in this movie. It is so pointless.
Well, it definitely feels like they're building up to have a climax, but as opposed to a climax with a play,
they just forget it. They stop.
They totally forget it after Kiki breaks her leg, like literally breaks her leg. And then they decide to have 2 dances in this movie, which I wanted to take to task a little bit. Like, if you're going to make a high school movie, you get one dance.
You get one dance.
You get one fucking dance.
You don't get 2.
This movie has 2 dances in it.
And anyways, so she's in the costume room, and all of a sudden, they find this piece of jewelry, this necklace, and the teacher is like, "Take a look, dear. It's very old." And I'm just like, "Yeah, you think so? You think that this piece of jewelry that you found in a costume room is, I mean, of all the places in the world where you would most likely find a piece of jewelry that's fake,
Context.
it would be in a costume room."
Context. You find something like that in a costume room, and guess what?
It's
costume
probably
jewelry.
costume jewelry. But they act like, gosh, what's this mysterious treasure? I think it's really old.
It's also supposed to be magic. And she's definitely got that kind of glazed over look on her face like, I think you should have this. Here you go.
Right. And she hands it to her, and I'm like, actually, that's school property, and you probably can't give that away.
All right, so take a look at this picture that that her dad is about to show her of her mom in junior high that they're supposed to laugh at. Her mom was a straight up 2016 hipster.
Oh, yeah.
In junior high.
Oh, yeah.
Like, no doubt about it.
And she's supposed to look dorky or something, I guess.
She's supposed to, and I saw that, and I'm just like, that looks like a photo from like a magazine.
Did someone like put a filter on this? And
that looks like
from somebody's Instagram.
Yes, that looks like a fucking Instagram photo for sure.
What filter are they using?
That's definitely Nashville. Anyway, and her date too. When she opens the door here and sees her date. Oh my God,
he is in style.
Like, throw the bow tie away. Maybe. But you throw the bow tie away, and he's definitely like in style, like the glasses and the pompadour.
Yeah.
I mean, for certain, he is in style, in contemporary style, so to speak.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. Actually, they're dancing, however.
So they have
it's not in style anymore.
So I guess this is their fall bash, their
harvest
dance something. Their DJ's name is Raymondo. Okay, so Brad, and I think this is fair, of all of the talk about who looks like a dork and a geek and fashion shaming people and all that kind of shit in this movie, Brad shows up with a bolo tie on. If anyone's a dweeb in that room, it's the guy in a fucking bolo tie. That was true in 1989. It's true in 2016. Okay, so now she's changed.
And her clothes look like poor people clothes. Like her socks look like they were dirty and stuff.
Right, so
so ridiculous.
So she just changed out of her ugly clothes, and as she's changing, there's this changing clothes like hip hop montage, sequence of her changing,
pulling it over her ass,
and she changes from ugly clothes into reasonable clothes, and then adds too many accessories, and she's back into ridiculous shit.
And now she looks absolutely ridiculous because she has a tutu on.
And here's the thing, she acts like she's some kind of pariah or something at her school, like she's some kind of outcast, and that she's not cool, and she's ashamed of who she is, and she just wants this boy to like her, and no one likes, like, her date is this dweeby dude, and it's the only date that she could get or some shit. But as soon as she puts on hip clothes, she starts shaming her date.
Right?
She is a
terrible person.
She is a shitty person.
Just awful. And she doesn't get any better. She makes worse choices throughout the movie and ends the movie on a really low note. So,
did he already ask her if she wanted to smoke some weed?
No, I think that's later.
Okay, because that's coming up.
Is he a dork or not?
Well,
I think
it's here when they start dancing. Her supposedly geeky date asks her, "Yeah, you want to smoke some weed?" And she says no, and it's like, okay, well, he's clearly cooler than you.
The other thing is, like, I thought that the girl across the street, Cinderella or Lady Guinevere, depending on, whatever stupid reference that doesn't make sense that you want to call her, I thought that she hated her, or so. I thought we were supposed to get the feeling that they were enemies.
Well, there's no interaction between them, I think. Is there any in the entire movie?
No, and I mean, there should be. She's stealing her boyfriend.
Right. You'd think that there were at some point, like maybe, as this would have been an interesting idea that this movie is not nearly smart enough to even come close to, but maybe they spend the entire movie kind of blissfully unaware and ignorant of the fact that she is stealing this young lady's boyfriend, in so many words, and then at the end of the movie, the Cinderella Guinevere character comes up and she's like, yeah, you stole my boyfriend and now I'm gonna beat the shit out of you.
I mean, there's no retaliation for it, but there's also no like her being like, I think at the end of this scene here, there's a little bit of a moment where the girl comes up and is like, Brad, we're leaving. And then gives her Brad's car keys. Like, I mean, I just don't get it. She got her a date to the dance. I guess he's dorky date, and it was supposed to be mean that she gave him a dorky date, but I don't know. It felt like she was just like, look, my cousin's here. He needs a date. You don't have one. Like, I don't know. I don't get the feeling that like I should hate her. I know I'm supposed to, but I don't.
Yeah. I mean, the only character I really hate is
the main character.
Louise, really?
Right.
She walks outside here in this scene with Brad, and she looks up at the stars, and she starts saying some, what is, I guess, supposed to be dweeby shit about, like, did you know that the nearest star is 4 billion light years away, which means that if you made a wish on it, that it wouldn't come true for 8 years, which implies that wishes travel at the speed of light. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Wishes travel at 186,000, is it 186,000 feet per second, miles per second, something like that, which is correct, actually. That is solid science.
I mean, there was just no retaliation in that scene for her boyfriend stopping in the middle of the dance. They were dancing together, and he stops and walks over to Louise and asks her to go outside. No retaliation whatsoever. I don't get it. It's like they just forget. Oh my God, what happens to this character? I just realized that.
Oh, he's in a hell dimension for sure. All right, let's talk about it.
God.
So they're going. I don't know where they're going. I've already forgotten like where they're supposed to be headed. But she's in the car with her geeky date, whose character's name I think is David. I think. And he starts trying to grope her. Also, he said something really weird about driving in the fog. Let's examine this. He said he can drive in a fog like a hog with a hard on.
I can drive through a fog like a hog with a hard on.
Let's talk about
what the fuck that means.
Let's talk about the skill set that a sexually aroused pig has at operating a motor vehicle in low visibility conditions. Let's discuss.
Why would you say that in a million years?
I don't know
what
that means.
What is the point of this scene? She runs up and we see her not be able to get a hold of Serena.
Let's jump back to Geeky Date. So they're in the car and he's trying to grope her, and it's played really light because 1989.
Oh yeah, he is straight up sexually harassing her.
Oh yeah, and she's like, "How would you like if I did it to you?" And of course he's like, "I'd love it. Go ahead." And
rape is funny.
And she wishes him away. She says, "I wish you would go away. I wish you would disappear." And he disappears in a puff of purple sparkles and never comes back.
Never comes back. We don't see him again in this movie. He's not mentioned again. That's it. He's in a hell dimension.
He is in a hell dimension. Ponder that. He is in a hell dimension right now being ripped apart. Which, I mean, maybe he deserves for being so rapey.
I guess so. I mean, we're sitting here, giving the movie hell for the boys will be boys. They'll rape girls. But, maybe the movie did retaliate.
And so now we're kind of getting a sense for her powers. And, of course, we didn't talk about like really talk about what happened in the scene with Madame Serena. But Madame Serena said, on your 16th birthday, strange things will start to happen. Lots of vagaries and shit like that, which at that point is just like, why don't you just tell the poor girl instead of making her figure it the fuck out, right?
Yeah.
So the nature of her powers at this point is that she can cast spells by just saying things that she wants. And the things that she says are made literal. So when she said that she wished her boyfriend would go, or her date would go away, he disappeared into a hellscape where he's being torn apart limb from limb. And then the scene immediately after that, it gets real complicated, really too complicated for its own good, when she gets in a little spat with her brother and he says, "I'm rubber and you're glue. Anything you say bounces off me and sticks to you." And she says, "No, I'm rubber and you're glue, and anything I say bounces off me and sticks to you. And then he says, no one wants to date you because you're a dog. You're a dog, dog, dog. And then he turns into a dog because before she had said that she was rubber and he was, this is fucking stupid. This is a fucking stupid movie.
Shouldn't he be like actually rubber or something? Isn't that actually what should happen?
Right, like if it was actually literal, you should say, I'm rubber and you're glue.
He should turn into glue. I'm sorry.
And she turns into a tire and he turns into a puddle of Elmer's fucking glue.
Oh, yeah. But
and their parents come home and they're like, what the fuck?
Where are our children?
What is this tire and this puddle of glue? Where are our children?
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, it gets really complicated for no reason. Okay, the other thing I want to talk about is she comes home to find her brother home alone, having made a gigantic mess in the kitchen, making like marshmallow pizza, which is a good idea, except he's using like, red sauce and stuff, like regular pizza sauce plus marshmallows, which is a bad idea. And so like he's making some disgusting mess. And it's clear he's been there for a long time. Mm-hmm. And that means that her parents have been out. And she says something. She even mentions something about Mom, you got to clean this up before Mom and Dad come home. Like she doesn't know when they're going to come home. But when she turns him into a dog, she grabs him and runs to a different room where there is already a bathtub drawn and full of bubbles. Why is there a bathtub drawn and full of bubbles in this house?
And she just instinctually kind of takes her brother and puts him as a dog into the bathtub.
Why?
And then in the next scene, we discover through exposition from Madame Serena here that beginner spells are very weak and can be, undone with water,
It's just so backward.
But let's talk about this scene that we've just missed. The first thing, and I mean the first thing that Madame Serena teaches Louise how to do as a witch is how to counterfeit fucking money. Which is perfect.
It is perfect.
That's the real, and I'm telling you, Madame Serena is the realest character in this entire thing.
Oh, yeah.
And she keeps it fucking real
the
from
whole time.
Start
the whole
to
time.
Finish.
She is straight up real the whole time.
And I think it's really cute that E pluribus unum is part of the magic words to make magic counterfeit money.
So I was
so cute.
I was looking up. I was trying to figure out what their magic spell was from this, so I could read it. But instead, I stopped looking because I got bored, and instead found a website all about teen witch spells, which I think is unrelated to the movie.
You mean like real teen witch
right,
spells?
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to be a teen witch yourself.
Right, that was the rabbit hole that I fell down into. And I could read you the spell I found to make money, but it was stupid and boring. So instead, I would rather read you some of the instructions for a different spell, which is casting instructions for a vampire spell turns you into a vampire in just seconds.
In just seconds. Instant it's like minute rice, really.
This is from spellsofmagic.com if you're if you're looking for your next spell.
Some lucky bastard scooped that up in the .com boom. Spellsofmagic.com. Why didn't I think of that?
First off, it has to be dark, but not too dark.
Safety first. Do you have to wear goggles for this?
I don't think I can read it.
Give me your notes. I'll read it.
And you have to be outside.
Oh, God. Kind of like Louise is right now. She's outside. She's got a lamp, so now it's too dark. Her lamp just went out.
And then you say this chant only one time. Be careful, everyone, because this turns you into a vampire instantly.
Don't fuck this up.
It's really long. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically it starts off, I make a life commitment to be neither living nor dead. I wish to be a vampire. No longer shall I be a human. I shall be a vampire. I shall live in darkness, never the sun. The sunlight shall burn me if I am in the sunlight. The sun shall cause blah, blah, blah. It gets better. I shall have very pale skin and pointy fangs.
Oh, God.
I shall be able to run up to 40 miles per hour.
Just in case you have to get in a foot race with a T-Rex.
I shall be able to use mind control on people. It just goes on and on. But then it's better because after you say the chant, there's a warning. And they said, that's the chant. Say it only one time while outside. As soon as you do this spell, you will become a vampire. You can't turn back this spell.
You can't turn it back.
If you try.
And if you do it right, I'm sure that you'll turn into the desired end goal is like the Edward Cullen. But if you like miss a word or you fuck it up or maybe it's too dark or it's too bright, you turn into Chris Sarandon at the end of Fright Night. Just like a terrible shitty, ugly vampire.
Look, if you try to turn back this spell, you will pay for it. They are, I don't understand why we said they are sudden death, children that you give birth to also becoming vampires, not finding blood and becoming weak, etc. Now cause this spell works so fast, there are no side effects. Good luck. You've got it, popcorn pooplings. Go ahead and turn yourself into...
Wait, hold on. Let me write this down.
.com.
It's not a .biz? Are you sure it's not a .biz?
And that was posted by Becca Sullen. I wonder if that's a reference to Bella Swan and Edward Cullen from...
Oh, Jesus. I didn't even think of that.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Look at these swimsuits. These are supposed to be they're matching, so they're obviously school swimsuits. But there's got to be a name for it. What is that high cut thing on the legs?
No. A high cut, high waist. I don't ask me
the high
questions.
leg on the one piece swimsuit that really accentuates the
vagina.
The vagins. that zone.
Oh no, they pushed Kiki into the water.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about that. I just had a stray note of all of the little references, some more successful than others, to witch media, to witch and horror, actually horror movies too. They make a Nightmare on Elm Street reference. The one unintentional one that I find interesting is that there's a side character in this named Kiki, like from Kiki's Delivery Service, which came out this same year, 1989.
Also, that's the name of our cat.
One of our cats. That's right. In this scene right here, this is where Louise straight out comes to Madame Serena for help and says, "Hey, I want to make Brad fall in love with me. I want to remove all agency whatsoever. I just want him." And I guess we're not going to discuss the ethics of removing one's agency and, and consent and all that good stuff.
That poor frog she was sprinkling stuff on.
Okay. While this scene is going, I want to talk about some of the other principal crew that produced this. Writers, it had 2 writers on this. Took 2 humans to come up with this. Robin Menken and Vernon Zimmerman. Menken also wrote a 1984 Fran Drescher vehicle called Young Lust. And much like Dorian Walker, Teen Witch is her most recent writing credit. Her most recent Hollywood credit. Vernon Zimmerman also wrote Bobby Joe and the Outlaw from 1976 and wrote and directed Fade to Black in 1980. And this seems to be a trend. Teen Witch is Vernon Zimmerman's most recent writing credit, which might say something about what this movie did to all of these poor people's careers.
So Zelda's character is basically just like she's totally into the idea of like love slaves. Like she's like,
oh, for sure.
She's like, yeah, that's a great idea, and she makes her help her make a love slave out of her frog.
I mean, I want to talk to Louise and say, Louise, I hate to break it to you, but you don't need a love spell to seduce Brad. He's a teenage boy that's already going to be coming over to study with you, quote unquote. And And I think it's kind of unsettling that Madame Serena summoned Eric Trump as her sex slave. But I do kind of appreciate the fact that Serena summoned a fuck buddy for herself. I kind of like, again, she's keeping it real.
Oh, yeah. She keeps it real through this whole movie. Yeah. But, right. He's coming over to study. All you got to do is just, take off your shirt. You're good.
And here's the thing, like, she hasn't done the spell on him or anything yet. He's coming over to study by himself with a girl when his girlfriend is, let us remind you,
across the street.
Across the street.
Like, she can see his car.
Why isn't his girlfriend here too? If she's like right there, why isn't she just like, hey, I'm going to come over and hang out? Just because that seems like,
my boyfriend's going over to another girl's house, so probably that would be her character. Are we not giving this movie enough credit? Were they trying to make a not cliche character?
No, they just didn't finish writing the character.
The cliche character.
No,
they
just didn't do the work because she's not anything. It's not like she's another kind of character. She's just nothing. She's just nothing.
Oh my God. So this. Okay. For one thing, why do people keep coming in and asking where all the chairs are? Like, I think they thought this was funny or something, but it doesn't make any sense because fine, I can get him saying where are all the chairs in her bedroom, though I honestly don't know why you would have more than just like, we see a chair right there with clothing on it. Like, what, does she keep dining room chairs in her bedroom?
It kind of seems like she does, because when she opens that closet, those aren't like bedroom chairs.
Right. But here's the thing about it. One, we haven't seen those chairs in any other scene. And two, why do people from outside of this room keep coming into this room and asking where the chairs are? Like, her brother comes into the room specifically to ask where the chairs are, as though they are missing from other places in the house.
Right. Which confused me when I watched this the other night. I'm like, is she taking chairs from other places rooms? In the house and hiding them in her room?
Just in case?
Just in case he's just like, there's nowhere to sit. I'm going to go to another place in the house and find a chair. Right. So she can be like, no, we don't have
any chairs in this house.
There are no chairs.
We're anti-chair. It's a sensitive topic.
We have a cat that pees all over chairs. We can't have chairs in the house because the cat pees on the chairs. Which would be our house, really.
Yeah, that would be. So this right here, I'm just like, you are in too deep. You have to finish this spell.
She gets halfway through the spell and then she stops. Like, she's saying magic words and she's even like saying shit in English like, I want Brad to become my... Oh, never mind.
And you're like, no, bitch, you gotta finish that shit.
Brad looks at her and he's like, what? What are you saying? And she's
in too deep.
Never mind. Let me get all these chairs out of the closet.
Don't ask about the chairs. You are in too deep, girl. You need to finish that spell right now.
And now Brad thinks you're nuts, but
I guess not.
Like I said, you don't need a love spell to seduce Brad, because he could think that you're absolutely certifiable and he's still going to want to poke it. He's a teenage
and also,
boy.
I think he's just really dumb too.
Maybe. He's not really much of a character either. Like, we're talking about her taking away his agency with magic, but as a character, he doesn't seem to have much agency on his own.
Right? So it doesn't matter.
This scene right here is really, really troubling.
Oh, yeah.
So her shitty English teacher, who before read that super sexy note in front of the entire class about Brad kissing her all over her body and all that shit and totally embarrassing her, is now going through her stuff that has fallen onto the floor.
Going through her purse.
And has found a pack of birth control pills. And
says it. And opens them.
Opens them and announces it to the class and says something like, birth control pills all in their place. As though she's like not using, like she has them and she's not using them. So,
I mean, I hope Louise does understand that you need to be using that for at least a month before you have unprotected sex.
Right, and that shit don't work.
Gosh, I can just take one of these right before I have sex, right? Is it a month? I thought it was like
2 weeks. Is it a month?
No. You need to have a full month of birth control pills that you have taken before you have unprotected sex.
But here's the thing. She's making a voodoo doll to get revenge on her teacher, Mr. Weaver.
Was there a Mr. Weaver in our high school?
I don't remember. I don't think so. But she doesn't really need to get revenge on her English teacher with magic or voodoo. She really has more than enough to end his career forever and maybe even get him thrown in jail.
Right?
Like, that whole birth control pill thing was like borderline. No, it was sexual harassment.
Right?
It was straight up sexual harassment.
You can't do that.
No borderline anything.
You can't take out a 16-year-old girl's contents of her purse and announce her birth control pills to an entire classroom.
But as this movie, and this is really an important lesson to learn, is that the best way to get revenge on someone who sexually harasses you is by sexually harassing them.
Back, right? Yeah, or sending them to a hell dimension.
Or sending them to a hell. Well, rape is beyond sexual harassment. I guess it's a form of sexual harassment, of course, but no, he definitely deserved to be ripped limb from limb in a hell dimension.
But look at this. She responds to her teacher doing that birth control, like announcing the birth control and stuff in her class by making him undress himself in front of all of the students. But as you can see, this still doesn't get him fired. Oh no, later in the movie you still see him. And they're just like, you need to go home and take a day off.
I think he does. He takes off his boxers, or he starts to. Oh, okay.
But do you see right here, this classroom is not a classroom. This is the theater stage that they were on before, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah, that's just a theater stage.
But is it the one that they were rehearsing on?
Unless this movie decided that there
was an auditorium. There was an auditorium in front of them.
Why have your English class on a stage? Like, there are curtains behind the bookshelves. I don't think they wanted you to notice that.
I don't know. Anyway, moving on. So we've got Mr. Weaver doing a bit of slapstick.
What next?
Wah, wah, wah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible. So yeah, did you expect this movie to hold up when you saw it this time, or did you know it was going to be as terrible as it is? Because I don't know if you can tell from, we're halfway through the movie, more than halfway through the movie. This movie is garbage.
It's really bad.
Hot garbage. This movie came about.
Also, by the way, if you throw a voodoo doll into a washing machine, I'm pretty sure the outcome is not the person walks into a car wash, but the outcome is that the person drowns and dies.
Yeah, pretty much. Which I would like to see. I would like to see Mr. Weaver just standing in the middle of the road drowning.
Yeah, that would be an interesting movie.
This movie came about as it was originally intended to be a female version of Teen Wolf.
Oh, I read that somewhere.
Teen Wolf, of course, being the 1985 Michael J. Fox vehicle. And of course, Teen Wolf had a sequel, Teen Wolf 2. So I think this is still considered by many to be part of, maybe not Teen Wolf, a sidequel, if you will, or a spiritual sequel, part of maybe the same series or franchise. So this is maybe the unofficial third movie in the teen insert occult figure creature here series. So yeah, you can chalk that one up to a trilogy. Teen Wolf is a trilogy, I guess.
So I love how the theater teacher says that she's taking a sabbatical. Don't tell anyone.
Why?
Aren't they going to find out?
Don't you? Yeah, they're going to find out if you leave. If you're not there, they're like, I guess she's taking a sabbatical, or she's dead, or she quit her job.
I'm pretty sure sabbaticals have to be approved too.
Yeah. She could have just said, I'm quitting my fucking job. Bye. Oh, this guy. What's his name?
Count Lagondo.
Count Lagondo. And where did she find him?
I don't know. I don't know where she found him, but he's like somebody important.
Is he Argentinian or something like
royalty or something like that?
Anyway, so yeah, with with Louise's magic, she made sure that her teacher, her drama teacher, found love with some Latin American hunk with a mustache and a suit and a convertible. But this scene right here that we're coming on, this is the scene, the one.
So this girl, Mandy Ingbar.
Yeah.
Ingber. However you say her name.
Yeah.
So she was on Cheers. Is that right? Is that what she went to do?
Was she?
After this? My notes right here say that she was best known for her role on Cheers as Annie Tortelli.
Oh, I guess so.
Before she partook in the worst song ever performed. So maybe that was before this movie.
This, and again, like I said, I don't have much of a history with this movie, but this is the thing that everyone remembers from this movie,
right?
And even in the bits and pieces that I saw of this movie, I did see this part. This is a very, very early. This may be the discovery of the cringe emotion for me,
Okay,
which is one of my favorite emotions. I don't know if I've said that on the show before. Number one, probably nostalgia. Number two, cringe. It's way up there.
Yeah.
I really like cringe. It's a unique thing. Of course, we are talking about the Top That rap sequence.
right. I mean, that's why you listened to this episode, right? You
Yeah.
you just wanted to hear us talk about Top That.
If you listen to this just because you wanted to hear us talk about Top That, please like, comment, and subscribe. But yeah, Polly's comment about the leader of the rap group is, look how funky he is. I strive to be that funky every day. This actress here, Mandy Ingber, who played Polly, admitted to the audience that she had an attitude problem on the set. She felt that the director, Dorian Walker, had no idea what he was doing. She also explained that this scene right here, Top That, was not in the original script and was filmed during a reshoot. And she was mortified by having to do this. Both her and this actor right here having to do this terrible, super cringy rap scene that I've managed to. Oh, God. Oh, I saw that. Oh, I was looking at my notes through most of it, and I saw her do the Top That at the very end, and I just, oh my God.
I don't really give a about trying to top that.
One of the best things that you can do with that scene is
say the word fuck.
Say the word fuck in there, so you can say, I don't really give a fuck about trying to top that. Top that.
But see,
I don't really give a fuck about trying to top.
Completely different song. That was
completely different movie. Really.
Yeah, really. So that was like a thing for me where when I was a kid, I didn't think it was particularly funny or what. It was just a scene in the movie that was there. And then when I was older, sometime in high school, when it became cool to go back and like look at the stuff that you liked when you were a kid and joke about it. It was probably, I would bet it was with our mutual friend, Jessica Graves, that I probably rediscovered it with her. And we probably, because it seems like that would be something that she and I, and I'm sure it was like all based upon the line, I don't really give a about trying to, like the fact that they censor themselves.
the self-censoring is really,
that's the best part.
It's what really pushes it over the edge here.
That's the best part.
But it was also at that point on this viewing of the movie, it was at that point in the movie that I realized that we hadn't actually had a song or dance number in quite some time.
Yeah.
So this movie doesn't really commit to the musical kind of thing that it seemed to be.
This movie doesn't really commit to a lot of things.
Like the music per minute, I guess, ratio early in this movie is really fucking high.
Oh yeah.
Certainly high enough to be considered a musical.
Right.
I really think so.
Because it's and granted there are rules and stuff about what, a musical should be doing.
This shot right here of her taking this potion out of the cupboard here was our hint for this episode, and no one got it.
Man.
God, so disappointed. Anyway.
What was I saying?
Top that.
No.
Not giving a fuck about trying to top that.
We were talking about musicals have, of course, like there are rules about what should be happening in an actual musical, like the songs should, be moving forward the plot and et cetera, et cetera. And I wouldn't say that this movie was even trying remotely to do any of those things, but however, though, just the number of songs, there were just so many songs in the beginning, and then all of a sudden,
there's
right,
a real dearth of them throughout the middle. And toward the end here, like after Top That, I think they have a couple more, like, of course, there's the big, like, synchronized dance sequence during the climax. And there's another one where she finally becomes super popular.
Oh, the popular girls or the most popular girl or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. And then there's like this thing right here, which is another random throwaway.
Oh my God, this saxophone player. This saxophone player is everything. I just want, he's everything I want to be. And I would settle for just being his mullet.
Please don't.
I would just be his mullet. I would be so happy with that. This does kind of explain some of her fashion choices when Louise thinks that she's being hip, especially with like the tutu over the little mini skirt,
right?
Because this pop star that she idolizes, Shauna, I think is how they say her name. They're backstage at her concert, and they're here to procure her jacket, her jean jacket. Mm-hmm. So she's going to use magic.
I think it's part of the spell.
Yes, it's part of the spell. She has to procure her jean jacket in order to become popular. So for whatever reason. I think she has to get the article of clothing of someone that's popular.
Well,
so she goes to a concert to get like the most popular thing that she can, like the thing that's imbued with the most popular energy.
Right. We didn't hear the rest of the instructions for the spell. Though first, you need to be outside, and it needs to be it needs to be dark, but not too dark.
And my skin will be pale, and my teeth will be
and
pointy
I can run
fangs.
40 miles per hour.
No more, no less.
You can only run.
How fucking inconvenient.
You can only run 40 miles per hour all the time. You would hit so many walls.
But you'd be a vampire, so you wouldn't die or anything.
You'd be like, oh God, I've got to go turn off that fan over there. Oh,
just like,
shit.
I immediately regret this decision.
Oh God, I just want to step across the room. Immediately run into the wall.
Anyway, so she has used magic to get this jacket from this pop star, and Polly's just like, what in the motherfuck is going on right now? Because Shauna, this super popular, super famous pop star, is just like, oh my God, Louise, you made it. Listen, this is the original jacket. I want you to have it. Like, here, take it. No, really, it's you can just have it. And
I've had this since my first album.
And Polly's like,
super unethical.
This makes sense to me. This is crazy, but it makes sense to me.
And Louise acts like she's all surprised and excited about it too. She's also like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening right now.
So she spins around in the jacket and casts the spell, and it's basically just a makeover. Like, that's all it is. That's all it ends up being. And she doesn't actually she doesn't actually wear the jacket after using the spell. I guess it is consumed in the process or something.
You consume the jean jacket into your body.
But yeah, she does this magic spell, and she comes out and she's just like, now I've got makeup on and new clothes, and look at me. I'm the most popular girl in the whole fucking world.
That mom decorated by literally putting bows on the banister. It's not like Christmas or anything. They're just pink bows on the railing.
And
yeah, she looks exactly normal. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe she looks like this. What a transformation. She looks like she
changed.
Got a perm and put on makeup.
New clothes.
And is...
Oh, I think that might have been the only interaction between her and this character. Brad's actual girlfriend is You want to ride to school with us?
So you can steal my boyfriend
And
more?
then Paul, and this is a big thing for you. It's a big thing for me. It's a big problem in the movie. So it's the first time that we see her be actually shitty to Polly. She just blows Polly off. Like Polly comes to meet her to go to school, to walk to school or ride to school, and she just takes off without saying anything to her.
Yep.
And Polly's like, bye, I guess. Okay.
And this
Forever
is
alone.
my biggest problem with this movie is the fact that that she never goes back on this. Like, I mean, like, I'm not surprised, whatever. She doesn't really change anything by the end of the movie. She has the big talk like, I want to change it all back, but she doesn't. Like, there's no reason for us to believe that she changes anything back by the end of the movie. But one of the biggest thing for me is the fact that she just ditches her best friend. Look at that. Look, and we get so many shots of it.
Yeah, shots of her friend being like, I'm really
Whoa.
sad because I don't have a friend anymore. And her fucking English teacher still has his job.
Oh, yeah.
How?
Well, you know,
Tenure.
boys will be boys.
Fucking tenure. Anyway, let's talk about the music. We haven't really talked about not really talked about the music. The musical score, which is heavy, sexy saxophone, which we're going to get a lot of in the last act. Sexy saxophone and electric keyboard was done by Richard Elliott, and the songs that were written for this were written by Larry Weir. Richard Elliott, the score composer, he only blessed, and I use that word with real emphasis, he only blessed one other film with his sexy saxophone score, and that would be the 1988 historical documentary, actually, Cover-Up, Behind the Iran-Contra Affair.
What?
Yep. Larry Weir, however, composed all of the songs, the ones as in with lyrics, including the raps for this movie. He composed and produced 13 original songs for this movie.
Oh my God, why?
That's an entire, I mean, and that real, like, that kind of qualifies this as a musical, you know?
They should have just included all of them and just taken out all the dialogue. I would have been fine with that.
I mean, that 13 tracks, that is an entire album's worth of music and lyrics produced exclusively for this film. The original soundtrack has never been officially released.
I heard that, but they had plans, right, to make a musical. Have you heard about this?
I think a musical did happen.
I think they released the They released the
soundtrack, but it's not the original cast. It's not it's not the original music. It's what was going to be the musical cast, or is the musical cast. I don't know. I thought that.
So let's see my notes. The Weir brothers created Caption Records and collaborated with Teen Witch film producer Alana Lambros for the Teen Witch the Musical project. Financial backers of Teen Witch had neglected to provide funding for the original soundtrack release. After a decade and a half, the master audio tapes had become unavailable. So they were interested in recreating the now popular songs, blah, blah, blah. They thought it was viable as a Broadway-bound production. In 2007, the audio CD was released.
We're missing
new actors.
We're missing this amazing shit right here.
But the adaptation never found a larger venue. Surprise.
We are missing some amazing, amazing shit right now.
Oh, God, not really.
The way they shoot Brad in this movie is beyond hilarious. Like him leaning up against that window. Soft focus.
Do you want him so bad?
Warm lighting. Like he seriously looks like the cover of a romance novel. Like like the stable boy.
Yeah.
The stable, he takes care of the horses and my pussy.
Oh God. Yeah, they filmed this like a sex scene.
The drop armhole tank top tucked into the jeans is like one step too far. Look at her fondling his back through the drop tank sleeves. not sexy.
Oh my God. What are they even doing? Why? What was this? It was just, hey, let's...
this is like, they're not supposed to be having sex, but this is shot like a love scene. This is shot like a sex scene.
Well, and
it's really risque because they're walking through the house. It's super suggestive, walking through this abandoned house, like disrobing as they go, shedding clothing as they go, and she leaves her shoes on the stairs and takes off her jacket and puts it on the banister, and he takes off his pants, and it's...
So she explains, she says that was an added scene because they wanted to make it a bit sexier.
Oh, this is Robin Lively talking. Okay.
If I had the chance to do one thing over, I would take that scene out. I really would. It's awful. Also, it implies that something happened with Brad and Louise that I wasn't aware of at the time, she explained. What's funny is my mom was super upset because she wasn't invited on the set that day. She would have thrown a fit. So they like snuck that shit in.
Yeah, totally. Like they did it in a reshoot because the studio was like, this isn't sexy enough. Those swimsuits don't show enough bush. You have to put a sex scene in there, but don't call it a sex scene. Call it a kissing scene, but shoot it like a sex scene.
And don't let her mom come to the set today because she's 16 years old.
Like in the scene that we just saw with her and Madame Serena, they keep saying the word kiss, but that scene is shot like a sex scene.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it implies they did it. And also, I mean, the thing with the birth control too, right?
Okay. So take a look at this scene because this took me a second to figure out, like, because I know that it's obvious that we're supposed to notice the fact that all the girls are dressing like Louise, but they they're dressed like she's dressed today. Right. They're dressed like, some of them are dressed like she's dressed today, but all of them have like the side ponytail and like the blouse tucked into the skirt. And they're all supposed to be at least influenced by the way she's dressed. But today, watching this movie, they all just look like random 80s teens.
Yeah, pretty much.
So anyway, I think this is the point in the movie in which she decides that she's too popular.
I'm just too popular.
What a problem to have. I did magic and made myself as popular as a pop star, but I'm just a high school student. I can't handle it. I don't have an agent. I don't have bodyguards to deal with this shit. I can't. I'm too popular.
I just can't. It's so hard having everything.
Okay, so this is where the play storyline comes to an end really abruptly, really anticlimactically. Like this should be the scene that kind of caps off the movie. I think that the end of the movie should be built around this because they've kind of, dropped scenes incorporating.
There is no reason for any of this theater stuff to be in the entire movie.
No, none.
Not a single reason. Also, and let me just say, I get so tired of movies that do this thing where it's like the most popular girls and boys in the school are also in theater. It's like, what? I'm sorry.
Since when?
When was being a theater geek that meant that like the most popular girls in school? Because Kiki is supposed to be the second most popular girl in school, second to Brad's girlfriend.
Well, second to Louise now.
Well, now, right?
So she's probably third,
right? But I mean, like, and she is genuinely excited about dressing in a medieval fantasy fucking dress and going on stage, and that's not believable.
But here's the thing. What was the thing that changed in that scene? What was the ending of that scene? The ending of that scene was,
oh, now Louise the star of the play.
Kiki broke her leg. Now Louise has to be the star because she was the understudy. And we never see that happen. Like, we never see her act in the play. It's just like, okay, so she's going to act in the play now?
I also another thing we just drop it off. We never come back to the play thing, right? Just like just like the boy in the car that gets sent to the hell dimension.
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
Like we never come back to it. But another thing that I hate in movies that have a high school play or a college play or whatever in it, don't stop with the bullshit, guys. Okay, you cannot be the quarterback on the football team and also be in theater successfully.
Someone will disagree with you somewhere.
I'm sure someone will, but oh my God, what theater program doesn't meet like almost every single afternoon throughout the entire week? Like all year.
And here's the thing. Like, I work with high school football players, especially like right now during football season. I am neck deep in high school football, and I work pretty closely with high school football programs and their players, and I know how hard they work and how frequently they're out there practicing.
Right? Both of those are super time-consuming things.
There is no way that they would be able to participate in anything really.
In college, in theater, we rehearsed.
I'm
like
honestly
6 days a week.
I am producing a story right now about a kid who is a football player and he's also like a steer wrestler in rodeo. And I mean, talking to his mom and him today, it's just like, yeah, during football season, rodeo takes a back seat because football takes a lot of fucking effort. Like you have to focus on it or you're gonna suck.
Right.
So, I mean, and we're doing a story on him because he's multitasking. Like, that's the story.
Where did this kid get this costume?
I don't know, magic, but this kid's performing. MVP of the movie.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Joshua John Miller, and he's out there. He's still working. You know, he wrote he co-wrote that Final Girls movie. He is the MVP of this movie.
But anyways, though, yeah, that always drives me crazy when they're just like, yeah, I'm the star of the play plus also the star of the football team. And I'm like, yeah, are you? Do you sleep? Do you have one of those magical Hermione fucking twist back time so you can go to 30 classes
Time turners?
Yeah.
Time turner's the thing that kind of ruins the rest of Harry Potter.
Right?
You're like,
if you just
why don't you use that thing? Where did that thing go?
Why don't you have that anymore?
So many people died. So many people died.
Anyways, but yeah, if you had that, unlike the characters throughout the rest of the Harry Potter series,
you know,
then
I had this in my notes and I didn't mention this because I don't know that we see the little brother again. But one thing that kind of stood out to me about his performance, I don't know if you remember Shia LaBeouf when he was a kid and the show that he was on, Even Stevens.
I didn't really watch TV. We've had this conversation about
well, Shia LaBeouf kind of started his career with a show on the Disney Channel called Even Stevens. And even back, like I didn't like the show very much, even as a kid, but there was definitely always a quality about Shia LaBeouf's performance and his particular energy and his delivery that made me feel like this kid has chops. Like he's probably going to be something important. And I mean, you know, he's still a pretty famous fucking actor. I would say that he's A-list right now. And Joshua John Miller in this movie really gives me that kind of early Shia LaBeouf vibe. It's a similar kind of performance to the one that he, you know, gave in Even Stevens. But I don't know. I don't know, that's a really fine line there between just like absolutely obnoxious and try hard and like this kid has got there's a weird quality to his delivery that is unexpected and compelling.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really can't praise it enough. It's kind of a treat in the middle of all of this junk, you know. This is kind of a hilarious scene, not because of anything that they say, but because of what he's wearing out on the lake, which seems like a reasonable thing to wear in a boat, and what she's wearing.
But let's be real. Anything she wears seems unreasonable in this movie. So for one reason or another.
Anyway, there was a question that I had about Serena and Serena's magic.
Oh, yeah, I have questions, too.
Is Serena a witch or not? Because it seems that she can't actually do any magic on her own.
Right? Why does she care about what Louise can do?
I don't know. Like it's weird. I think here in the next couple of scenes, Louise is going to go to Serena's house / magic shop
That's now like been redone and is like
made over. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Serena's like, oh, without you, I wouldn't have been able to do all this, suggesting that her magic helped her, do that. She needed Louise's magic to make her boy toy,
right?
Her sex slave. Yeah, and it's like Serena doesn't actually do any magic on her own through this movie, but she's definitely in that book of like witches that were born.
And she even says, "You're one of us," and
yeah,
things
one
like
of us.
So I guess she can only do reading fortunes.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like
but she acts like she knows what's going to happen to her and stuff.
But she also comments about how Louise's magic is still, nascent, and she's weak spells, beginner spells can be undone with water because they're very weak and unstable and shit like that, suggesting that, because she's an older lady, maybe she's a more experienced witch and she has stronger magic.
Right.
But instead, she uses Louise's quote unquote unstable, weak magic, in her words, to get what she wants. I don't understand.
It's really confusing. I do not understand the rules of the magic in this universe whatsoever. I think they didn't make them. I think they were just like, oh, fuck it, she can cast spells.
She can do whatever she wants, I guess.
Also, this house is, I believe, if the internet is to be
I know what you're going to say, and I think you're correct.
Is where they filmed Thriller.
Yes, this house does appear in Michael Jackson's Thriller video.
Which is cool.
Very cool. Yeah, very, very cool. Of course, they add some stuff. I think in this movie, there's like a little short picket fence around the house that is not there in the music video.
Is this really the style that Serena would go for? Is this really what she wants her house to look like inside?
Maybe. Maybe she wants to be a modern lady.
I liked her clothes from before.
You wouldn't wear these clothes?
No.
You wouldn't wear this Mary Poppins ass shit?
I wouldn't wear these clothes, no.
Because she's kind of dressed like Mary fucking Poppins.
I would wear her witchy clothes.
Oh, shit. I'm totally running out of notes and we're not quite at the end of the movie yet.
Can't we be? Can we just turn it off and just be done with this movie?
This is This is another scene in which Serena keeps it really real. What is the line that she says that's really funny? Here it is. She says, "But I'm not happy." And Serena goes, "Who's happy? You'll get used to it."
So many good lines like that from Serena where you're just like, wow.
Fucking keeping it real, start to finish.
That's, yeah, man, right? And I hate this kind of character. I hate this kind of character in movies where, God, and I could feel it when I was a kid too. I could feel that sense of they're trying to teach me a lesson and I hate them for it.
I don't want lessons. I don't need to learn anything.
Because it's one of those things where it's like, well, if you use your magic too much, then it's not fair. And you're just like, no, screw it. I want to use my magic. Why can't I use my magic and be real, like rich and popular and beautiful and what, like, I swear to God, if I have magic, yeah, I would use it selfishly. I would also use it not selfishly.
Just run the gamut. Like I would
right?
do good stuff and I would do evil shit.
I'm not saying I do evil shit. I'm just saying that, a lot of it,
Revenge would be so fun and easy.
But I'm saying that, like, yeah, of course.
Hold on. This scene this moment right here where Zelda Rubinstein is sitting on Louise's lap. I forgot her name. Robin Lively, sitting on her lap. Robin Lively admitted at a screening one time that scene was hard to film because Zelda Rubinstein's breath was kicking.
Are you serious?
Yes. And she apparently, if IMDb, again, like IMDb, so take it with a grain of salt. If IMDb is to be believed, she wasn't aware that Zelda Rubinstein was actually in the audience at that screening too.
That's awful.
It's really sad. It makes me really sad. But anyway, I think it's a pretty cute scene when she starts to sit down on Serena's lap. And they're like, nope, that's not going to work because Serena's a tiny lady. So they switch.
No, that was cute.
And Serena sits on her lap.
Things we didn't mention that we should have mentioned. When Kiki falls in the backstage and breaks her leg, there is no way in the universe you would break your leg from that fall.
No way.
She like barely trips. I mean, she would have to be falling like directly onto a gigantic rock or something that was underneath and just shattering. What is this dance?
I don't know, but Mr. Weaver's not having any of it.
We're not having any of it.
What is the movie? Okay, I'm putting a question out because I thought it was this movie. After, like, when this dance scene was happening, I thought I was going to see this. There is a movie from my childhood that I just remember a moment from, and if one of our pooplings can tell me what it is based on this, there's a dance, like a high school dance or something, and a woman is walking around putting balloons between people and telling them to make room for the Holy Ghost or make room for the Holy Spirit or something like that. Does that sound familiar to you?
It does.
And I can't remember what movie it is. If you know what movie that is based on that description, please let us know. But anyway, these everyone's dance. Okay,
God,
everyone is dancing in sync. Like, this is synchronized dancing.
Oh, yeah.
This is like a flash mob. This is rehearsed.
Oh, and it's so bad.
Is it okay? And now Serena's a flapper. I mean, I guess she was born in like 1680 something. So she's got clothes from all of those time periods.
Okay, so things also that I hate about this movie. So we passed over the scene where Polly or Pauline, whatever her name is, and Louise had the very, very brief discussion where Pauline was like, Louise says something like, "We used to be friends," and she's like, "You used to not be a cheerleader." And I side with Pauline in this movie 100% of the time, and I have since I was a little girl watching this movie. Even from the time I was a little girl, I always came away from this movie like I would go into it and be like, "Oh yeah, I love this movie. I love it when she has magic and she does magic things and she kisses the boy, and oh my God, I love that." And then I would always come away from this movie feeling empty in my soul.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I couldn't really put my finger on why, but I knew it had something to do with her friend. I always felt bad.
Oh, that guy behind Louise is really creepy looking.
Oh, yeah. He's super.
Look at him.
He
Oh,
is
what is
super
that?
creepy looking.
I don't like him.
Oh, no.
No, what is that movement that he's doing? Oh, I don't.
Oh, no.
Okay. Okay. It's, yeah. Shitty movie, surprise, surprise, has a shitty ending. Oh my God, it's a shitty
Look
ending.
at her throwing the necklace over to Serena as though it was her power.
Here's a stray observation. It's supposed to be like her power or what. I don't know. We'll talk about this in a second. Stray observation. Watching this movie beginning to end, keep your eye on Louise's hair because Louise's popularity is directly proportional to the size of her hair. And that's important.
What is this hand touching?
I think
Is this how you do it?
I think this is the Dirty Dancing moment. I think this is supposed to be like.
We've been doing it wrong.
Oh, have we?
You're supposed to touch hands.
Touch hands first.
So back to Polly. So like
this is totally Dirty Dancing. Look at this.
Why? So I always came away from this movie as a kid feeling really unhappy, like bad feelings inside when I'd finish watching this movie. And as a kid, I couldn't really understand it. But of course, as an adult, I completely get it. And it's about storytelling, right? It's about bad storytelling. And you set up stories and you have to come full circle with them. You have to finish them off. And there's so many loose ends. And the biggest loose end in this movie is her, well, the biggest loose end realistically is the fact that she does this whole spiel about, I'm giving up my magic and I want to have a real relationship and whatever. And everyone is still dancing and choreography and stuff when she comes in.
This is obviously magic, right?
And he's still in love with her. Why would he be in love with her if...
There's just so many questions. She goes, the last scene that she has with Serena, she goes to her and she says, I want to reverse it. I want to take it all back. I like the way things were before because... And she kind of feels guilty. Like there is kind of a real moment of actual pathos where he starts telling her all of the things that he likes about her. He likes that she's genuine and honest, and she is exactly who she presents herself to be, and nothing more, and all this kind of stuff. And the entire time, her face is just like, "Oops, shit. I'm a fraud." So I think that's an important character moment. And she goes to Serena and says, "Oh, I want to turn it all back." And then she goes to the dance and throws the necklace away, I guess symbolically as I am no longer going to abuse my power for, to get what I want, to be popular, to get superficial things at the expense of people's trust or something.
Didn't she have power before the necklace, though?
Yes, but I think there's also like this unspoken subtext in there that she's just like, also, I'm going to stay as popular as I am, but no more. I draw the line at people in my front yard with
picketing
signs with my name and shouting my name and basically being a celebrity in high school. That doesn't.
I just don't think I need to be any more popular.
More popular than this. This level of popular is fine. No more. So in the final dance scene, everyone's dancing in sequence or in synchronization, which I assume is magic or a big oversight or who.
Right. If you want to do that shitty story where you've got your moral where it's just like, you don't need magic to be happy, just be yourself or whatever. If you're going to do that, you have to lose the boyfriend. You have to lose the boyfriend at the end of this. And you also have to go back and reconcile with your best friend who you ditched. Well, and she doesn't do either of those things.
And that's one of the big problems is that you're left to assume, okay, so he still likes her even without the magic, but what about his girlfriend?
What about his girlfriend? And also, what about Polly?
What about the things that he said that he likes about her that weren't true at all?
Right.
Are those not important?
Because they're not true.
And then Polly, of course, like there is no reconciliation with Polly. And I think that we're supposed to feel okay about it because she gets a boyfriend
or something. Really? That's how we deal with this? It's awful.
If you think about the movie's values are as reprehensible as Louise's values. All Louise wants is this particular boyfriend. She wants a boyfriend, and that will make everything better. And she wants to be popular, and she's entirely superficial. And the movie double downs on that with the terrible ending that really double downs on it with Louise's character, but also with Polly's character. Making the audience assume that everything's okay just because Polly has a boyfriend now too. It's like, it's okay, girls. As long as you have a boyfriend, you're fine.
It's fine.
This movie's a piece of trash, and I kind of hate it.
Is that your last thought? Is that you kind of hate it?
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah. Doesn't hold up even for the nostalgia and definitely not for the nostalgia, but even for the funny factor, it's just kind of too bad.
Is it even so bad it's good?
No, I don't
I don't know. Okay. Some of the dancing and stuff,
it's pretty hilarious.
The top that thing is cringeworthy to a level
just
that
watch
I understand.
YouTube videos.
It is kind of, watch highlights.
Just watch highlights of you just sat through the whole movie with us, but just instead just watch highlights of the rap scenes, mostly some of the dances and otherwise.
Cool. I'd call that a pretty successful start to Pumpkin Poops for this month.
As always, you can find us on our website at popcornpoops.com. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at popcornpoops, or personally, I'm at J. Casper Kramer.
I am at Dusty Cram Cram.
You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, follow our Twitch channel. And ways to support the show include buying things at our shop.
We have one of those, yes.
Donating actual money to us.
Click the donut button.
You can also go to audibletrial.com/popcornpoops and sign up for a free 30-day trial where you will get a free audiobook to keep forever.
It's pretty dope.
Every week, we like to highlight a friend of the podcast, and we affectionately call them our poo pal. This week, we are highlighting Junk Food Dinner, and you can find them at junkfooddinner.com. So what are we watching next week?
We are continuing hashtag Witch Month throughout all of October, actually. And next week, for week 2, we will be tackling Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez's 1999 film, The Blair Witch Project. That should be fun, and looking forward to it. So I guess that'll wrap us up. That's all for this week. So until next time, take care.
Bye-bye.
We are the Pumpkin